Here are my top five, no specific order: Donald Cerrone, Amanda Nunes, Mark Hunt, Conor McGregor, and Robbie Lawler. And let me explain those a little bit. Donald Cerrone is obvious. You said it yourself. The guy is a yes man, but I think in a good way. Like, some of his most impressive fights were off of yeses, and some of his most, sad fights, most recently losing to Justin Gaethje, was a yes fight. That was just him saying, yeah, I'll do it. Same with Donald Cerrone. I don't believe he's ever held the belt at the lightweight division. Journeyman, lots of losses, but he's a dog. There's no one who disrespects Cowboy Cerrone. There's not a single person in the game who can successfully disrespect Cowboy Cerrone and get away with it, right? He's such a good dude. He's a good father, but like you said, when he gets in the cage, he's terrifying. Amanda Nunes. This should be a little bit obvious. 2 weight class champion, still a couple losses. And I talked about this a little bit ago, how the most prestigious thing you can have in the UFC is an undefeated record. Not if you want to be a BMF. If you're trying to be a BMF, I feel like you need losses. You need to be able to show the world that you can lose and come back. That's why I wouldn't put Khabib Nurmagomedov in this list, and that's why I put Amanda Nunes with a couple of losses that she has. She's avenged those losses. She's gone back and forth from weight classes. She is the most dominant female fighter in the world today.
Of all time.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see with Tatiana Suarez in the future, but yes. Now, Mark Hunt, this one was, for me, super easy.
Yeah.
This dude leads the UFC in walk-off wins. There's no one else in the UFC who has thrown one punch and literally turned his back to his opponent and just said, yeah, it's over. He decides. You know the meme when they say he called game? Mm-hmm. That's what Mark Hunt does. He's done that more than anyone else, but also interesting about Mark Hunt, he has more losses in his career than he has wins. Yeah. And this is kind of where you might need to help me. I don't know exactly how active he is. He hasn't fought since December of 2018.
I believe he's still active. Right. I believe he's still on the roster.
Okay. So yeah, technically still active. That's a fuzzy definition. But I just want to go through the guys that he has lost to, because the guys that he's lost to is almost more impressive than anyone he's ever beat. Right? I love looking at this list. Okay, lost to Fedor Emelianenko, Alistar Overeem, Gegard Mousasi. Let's see, who else? Shik Kongo. He actually defeated Shik Kongo, defeated Stefan Struve, lost to Junior Dos Santos, defeated Roy Nelson, lost to Fabricio Verdum, Stipe Miocic, Alistar Overeem again, Curtis Blades, defeated Derek Lewis, drew to Brock Lesnar, defeated Frank Mir. Like, this dude is the definition of a heavyweight journeyman. I don't think there's anyone else in the heavyweight division that compares to this guy's resume. Even before he was in the UFC, he was fighting guys like Fedor, and he fought Alistar Overeem and Gegard Mousasi before he was in the league. So this dude, as far as the heavyweight division, I think takes the cake in any standard of the definition of a BMF. Now, my last fighter that I would like to talk about. Second to last. Robbie Lawler. That's an easy one. Like you said, holds probably the best fight in the UFC history. Absolute great guy, but once he gets in there, he's terrifying. He has the record to show that he's a BMF. He's not so much a yes man as he is an entertainer, and that's what I like about him. Now, Conor McGregor. Everyone loves Conor McGregor, and the reason why he makes it into my top 5 BMFs is because he does it differently than any other superstar that we've seen come in and kind of make a media spike, right? Like, we've seen fighters come in and just be super exciting and take control of the media for a few months and just kind of become the UFC guy. But he's been through more than I think any UFC champion ever has. Like, as far as suspensions, as far as shenanigans outside of the UFC, serving on probation legally. Like, this dude has been through it. And the reason he's a BMF is because he announced just this last week a formal return to the UFC. And he stood in front of hundreds of Russian reporters, had a shoe thrown at him. Like, this dude is not scared of anything. He wanted Khabib in Moscow, the dude that embarrassed him with an overhand right and then a neck crank. Like, Conor McGregor, to me, is the definition of a true comeback. Now, we'll see if he can truly come back and get back into the winning column and possibly in title contention. But he is a BMF for throwing water bottles. The interviews that he has went viral. He is the meme of the UFC, but not because he's silly, because he wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather, and he did. Because he wanted to fight Khabib in Moscow, didn't in Moscow, but he fought him. And he captivated the world when he threw a dolly through a bus. I mean, this man just personifies violence, and I think that's sometimes what a BMF does.